Unregimented. ChristopherMedia.net.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the name your price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The name your price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Are you ready?
To find solutions.
Ready.
For new opportunity.
Ready.
To take charge of the future. St. Joseph's College in Brooklyn offers a safe, flexible, and affordable education so you can be ready for what's next. And we make it easy to transfer, so you can stay on course to complete your degree. Attend an upcoming virtual transfer and adult enrollment day to see how. Register at sjcny.edu/BK Transfer Events.
Are you ready?
St. Joseph's College.
Ready?
Set.
Joe's.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthma Core Studios near Detroit, Michigan. It's Unregimented.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
And now, here are your hosts.
All right, Thursday, May 7th, I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron.
And, yeah. All right. It's all Groundhog Day now, right? I feel like I should just open this shit like we should be playing that clip with Sonny and Cher and the alarm clock.
Right.
It's just how every day feels now. Until we're allowed to do things semi-normally. But anyway. Remember there's an election? That's going on still, right?
Yep.
Weirdest election year ever. We were already saying we were having election year fatigue 8 weeks ago. Not so much now. We had a nice little break. But that's still going on. And this... We were saying it in the chat, and you told me to say this on the podcast, so I guess I'll open with it. Biden's got to be loving this coronavirus thing because it is keeping Tara Reid just buried in the news cycle.
I wonder if Biden... I don't know if Biden's worried about it.
Well, his people got to be loving it. Like, his PR person's got to be like, I love COVID-19. This shit is making my job easy.
Well, yeah, that and... I think a lot of people who want to support Biden and were very critical of people like Trump and Kavanaugh and others who have had accusations made against them. And, you know, the chant is believe all women. Okay, well, yeah, we'll believe women and then put it through the normal process of, like, how do we determine if this is truth or not? Mm-hmm. Right? Like, I get the concept of don't dismiss out of hand any woman's accusation. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, well, this is not Alyssa Milano is probably liking COVID-19 right now because she doesn't have to answer a lot of questions about why she's still supporting Joe Biden.
But did you see Rose McGowan pounded on her on Twitter?
I was aware. I don't know the details behind it, but...
It was pretty much calling her out. It was pretty much saying, hey, believe all women, right? You're supporting a rapist, essentially. I am paraphrasing.
Right. I mean...
You're supporting an alleged rapist. You said you got to believe everybody, and now you're coming out and supporting this guy. You know, pretty much going, which is it, Alyssa?
I mean, if it's just partisanship, yeah. Right? We understand that, but
that's what's being exposed.
If we were to give a person like Alyssa Milano or many others who are coming to the defense of Joe Biden the benefit of the doubt, then I would welcome the idea that maybe this instance has redirected their thinking on this a little bit.
Yeah, because let's be honest, this ain't Al Franken.
This is a little bit.
This is not Al Franken. This is something a little bit more serious than that.
Well, yeah, it is more serious if it is true. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this isn't feeling somebody up over a flak jacket or jacket
or being accused of writing a kiss into a script.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's got. So even if it's one of your guys, it's got to be that the addendum you got to put on believe all women, even if it's one of your people, because it's really what we're getting at, right?
Yeah. Well, what we're getting at is And what a lot of people don't want to say is, okay, maybe there's something to this Tara Reade thing, but that still doesn't mean that I'm going to vote for Trump or not vote for Biden and risk having Trump for another 4 years.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Due process. Hey, welcome back, everybody.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I can get behind that decision, though.
Right.
Like,
Well, it should never left. But, hey, whatever it takes. 220, 221, whatever it takes. If it's going to bring due process back into these conversations, whatever works. If we don't just immediately go to executioner phase, I'm fine with that.
right. But what is, I don't know, like, what does due process look like in this case where statute of limitations is up and
She filed a police report. They can look into it.
do what, though?
Investigate her report.
Yeah.
I mean, how you do that is out of my scope.
Sure.
But I mean, if she was able to file one, they can look into it, right? And how it's set up.
Yeah, there was, there's some weirdness about the police report that she filed as well, though.
Well, then that's like how, because now you got to get into the logistics of investigating what you just said. This is where bureaucracy shows up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you pick this apart and determine what happened, how many years ago now. It's the same thing as the Kavanaugh case. Did I believe that Kavanaugh was a creep when he was younger? Absolutely. The stories pretty clearly illustrate that. Does any of this lead up to evidence of clear violation of somebody else's, No, I don't know how you determine that.
That's going to be the sticking point too.
And that's why these types of cases are so sticky, because they can just, people will just assume, right? Mm-hmm. That's the only way. This will never be solved. Like the Kavanaugh thing wasn't solved in the courts. This won't be solved in the courts. This won't be solved by it'll be solved by how much the public cares to pay attention to it or not. That's it. What is the other option besides trying this in the court of public opinion?
Yeah, this is something to muddy the waters.
Right.
Like most things that we'll hear about till November. It's just something to
clearly, like if this happened, then it's sad. And if it did happen, I wish that it happened in an environment where she could have done something about it at the time,
Yeah.
But now here we are. Like, what do we do now? We can't swab her vagina for DNA to see if he touched it.
Yeah.
Like,
and we said that line is incriminating. That we've all three of us have been like, yeah, I can hear him saying it.
The line itself, yeah. Come on, man. I heard you liked me. Like,
it's like, yeah,
that sounds like a Joe Biden patented line.
Yeah, that sounds like something that somebody who sniffs hair would say.
So I don't know. I think in general, unless there's more to the story to come out, which doesn't sound like it, then I think this is just gonna fade away. It's not gonna be reason enough for anyone to not vote for him, I think. I mean, maybe the strategy for the Republicans is just to hammer this as much as they can to hope to peel off enough.
Yeah, I don't think this
to hobble Biden.
I don't think this fades away, but I don't think it affects him like people are hoping it's going to. I should say that his opposition hopes is going to, but I don't think it fades away because it's too much. We got one for the other side.
Well, it's all. I mean, look at lock her up. I mean, that didn't fade away. It still hasn't faded away. Trump could still go out and chant lock her up and have people join in.
Yeah.
So even though it's absolutely meaningless, even though there's been no action taken on locking up Hillary, and there's been no more proof offered of any kind of wrongdoing, they'll still trot it out. So yeah.
But
they'll be trotting out Tara Reade for the next 4 years of what will probably be the Joe Biden presidency.
Well, it's already done what they've wanted it to do anyways. It's riled up the extreme left. There's already the mentality out there of I will not vote for the lesser of two rapists. It's already done its job in that respect.
Yeah, I'm sure it's created some infighting amongst the Democrats, but I guess we'll see.
But at least,
and I don't know. Shouldn't somebody be convicted of rape before they're identified as a rapist?
Yeah, but that ship sailed in 2017. Well, come on, let that ship sail with Michael Jackson. Let's be honest. Michael Jackson was never convicted of anything. Yet the general opinion of Michael Jackson is child rapist.
Yep. Well, I mean, I don't know. But certainly he wasn't convicted in court, but there was enough proof to show that I wouldn't want him hanging around my kids.
Yeah.
Have you heard the one about the salon owner in Texas?
He's going to jail for 7 days.
Right, because she opened up her salon early.
I mean, that seems a bit extreme.
This is
instead of taking out of the coffers, why don't you make her put into the coffers? Like, that's going to cost money to jail her for 7 days. Why don't you why don't you make her pay a bunch of money and put some money into the pot?
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, the idea of jailing somebody over this is, I mean, you got to know where I stand on this. We jail people over ridiculous things for victimless crimes.
Like, Texas, I get it. You gotta show her there's consequences for her actions, and I'm in that camp, but you know what else is consequences for her actions? A big, fat fine.
Well, that's the thing. She opened her business early, and she was hit with a fine, and was told that we can just keep this to a fine if you close your business until you get the A-OK, and mind you, all the rest of the similar businesses in the area get the A-OK to open. And she said no. She refused and said that she would rather go to jail.
I don't know who to hate more in this situation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, nobody's smart.
Everybody sucks in this situation. It's fine. Then it's double, and every day you're open, then it's triple, then it's quadruple. Like, just keep hitting her. Make the financial penalty so great that you go, all right, fine, I'll close for 2 days.
She's fined $500 for every day the salon stayed open. So I got to figure this is there has to be a financial move here that she's making as well. This is not just some stance. I know that she was quoted as saying, I have to disagree with you, sir, when you say that I'm being selfish, because feeding my kids is not selfish. I have hairstylists that are going hungry because they'd rather feed their kids. So, sir, if you think the law is more important than kids being fed, then please go ahead with your decision, but I'm not going to shut.
Fuck you, bitch. Get a PPP. You know, everyone who didn't get funded in the last round seemed to get funded in the second round. There's plenty. You're a business owner. There was plenty of. Sorry, we said I know how easy that money was to get. She can shut the hell up.
Right.
You are not taking a stance here for the reasons that you are saying you are. There was an opportunity here for you to get whatever, bitch. Not buying it.
And this idea that, okay, look, I know people are out of work. People are scared. You know, they don't know if they're going to get their old job back or be able to even get a job that's as good as the job that they had. There's a lot of panic, yes. 2 months into quarantine and they have to choose between feeding themselves or feeding their own kids. Something else is going on here.
Well, I think she's being dishonest.
I think she's being dishonest too. That's the first step. First of all, you're full of shit by telling us that you have people that used to work for you that are starving, literally starving because they're choosing to feed their own kids before they feed themselves. They don't have enough money or food to even come up with that.
I think she's being dishonest to...
There's homeless people in this country pre-pandemic that can find food, all right?
I think she's being dishonest to virtue signal. Is what I think's going on here. To virtue signal to her people.
Yes. So she's trying to make it look like she's taking a stance and she's doing something. She's sacrificing for the good of the people around her, which when in reality, she's doing the exact opposite. She's being greedy. This is a financial move. $500 a day is probably less than what they would make on an average day. And considering that they're the only place open, then they kind of have a monopoly on the market locally. So I think she's betting that she will get people to support her because she's taking a stand, and that she will get a lot of business because of that factor, and the idea that they're the only business open, and that she will make much more than $500 a day to offset the fine.
That's really what's going on here. When she gets out of jail, her shit's going to be book solid. And that's boom. Two guys in Michigan are talking about you, which means a lot more people than Ness are talking about you. So yeah, her shit will be book solid when she gets out of jail, and she probably won't serve a day of that time. She'll probably get a lawyer.
I think she's in jail now.
Oh wow. Well,
yeah, she's sitting in jail. She's currently sitting in jail as of recording this.
Well, you know what? You know why? Because she ain't in state prison. She's in county. Wherever she's at, she's in county.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so she isn't in pound me in the ass, get stabbed prison.
Yeah. I mean, it still doesn't change my stance on the fact that putting people in jail is not the answer to everything. And it's certainly not the answer here. And all you're really doing is making this woman a martyr.
Yep.
Right? If it was just a fine, it wouldn't be a news story. She called your bluff. She's playing you, the judge here. Mm-hmm. The judge in this case. The judge got played. He thought, nobody's going to go to jail over this.
And she said, hold my beer, because it's Texas.
This is one of those fucking, live free or die states.
The country of Texas. It actually is the Republic of Texas. That would not be making fun of it. That would be being truthful.
How is it? It's a republic?
Yep.
Luther had openly defied the governor's mandate that salons remain closed over the past few weeks, according to KTVT. She ripped up a cease and desist letter from the county in front of a cheering crowd and disregarded the judge's order. So, yeah.
Oh, correct. It was the Republic of Texas before it was the state of Texas.
Oh, okay. It's not currently a republic.
Correct.
We should just stop trying to threaten people with jail over things that, if they're not considered a threat to themselves or others, then why? There's no reason to put them in a jail.
You're going to punish people. Absolutely. Take their money. That's really how you punish somebody.
Yeah.
Make it a pain in the. Make it every time every time they get paid, they're reminded of the stupid shit they did. Anytime money is sent to them, attached to their social security number, they get a reminder of some dumbass shit they did. That's how you punish somebody.
Yeah. And in most cases, for in most civil cases, there's like a low level fine, and then it just goes into jail time. Right? And sometimes they're concurrent, and sometimes these fines can get to be really hefty. But we should be going that route first, right? Figure out what's the dollar number that disincentivizes this behavior, right? Clearly, it's not $500 a day. All right, so go to $1,000, go to $1,500, $2,000, go to $5,000 a day.
Make it double every day. It's $500 a day. It's $1,000 tomorrow. It's $2,000 a day. After that, it's $4,000 a day. That shit would. Stop that shit real quick.
As soon as they put her in jail, the state's losing money on her.
Yes.
You're charging her $500 a day, and that's not covering the cost of keeping her in a fucking cell.
She is now costing you money. Who's really getting punished?
Yeah. And so her choice was to what? Go back home to her fucking family for another week? Or go sit in a cell somewhere? I think there'd be a lot of people who'd be like, well, it's just like a vacation, right?
And newsflash, you just saved her food bill for 7 days. Mm-hmm. Guess who's getting free food for 7 days on the Texas taxpayer dollar? This lady.
So yeah, and plus all of the copycats that are going to happen.
And she's getting a free she's getting a free shower. She's getting free soap. She's getting free. You're saving her on heating and cooling. She gets a week off from all her expenses. Who's getting punished? State of Texas.
And also, it's only like a week out, or not even, until they were ready to reopen these businesses anyway.
Apparently her employees were all going to die within 7 days because they weren't eating, Aaron. They hadn't eaten for 7 weeks, so she had to open up.
Tuesday, Texas Governor Greg Abbott announced the reopening of certain businesses starting May 8th. The salons being amongst those businesses. So, as of recording this now, she would only have 2 more days to wait to open up and do it properly.
I will be honest. Let's be honest here. Let's put it on the table. This is Texas. How long has these businesses actually been closed? Wasn't Texas one of the last states to do a stay-at-home order? How long is
right.
So how long have these businesses really been shut down in Texas?
Yeah, I don't see them give a date on how long she's had her business shut down. But even if they were one of the first ones, still, like, if you're telling me somebody's starving, I'm telling you, it's not their job. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, look, it's 2020, this is America. If somebody's starving in this country, it's not because of lack of money or food. There are other factors going on.
Absolutely.
It's too easy to meet your basic minimum nutritional needs. Now, food insecurities, unhealthy eating, anxiety over this stuff, that's all a separate conversation. But if you're telling me that because 2 months of a business being shut down, I don't buy it. I don't buy that your employees are looking in their cupboards and going, well, I only have enough to feed one person, so I'm going to feed my child instead of myself. So what are they doing then? Just chewing on shoe leather to slake their appetites? What are they doing? Are they just dying? Your employees are dying. Is that what you're saying? Because that's what happens when you don't eat. Eventually you die, right?
Allegedly. That's what science tells us. On April 17th, Texas was already rolling out legislation guidance on opening retail. So, yeah, how long? I'm trying to figure out how long this...
Well, no, that's really part of the guidance, and May 8th is the date. Yeah, I couldn't find a date where they actually shut down businesses, but either way, I mean, you're going to come up with a date that's sometime later than when Michigan did it, and it's just going to prove my point. Like, if it's not happening in Michigan, it ain't fucking happening in Texas.
April 2nd. April 2nd is when they shut down salons and barbershops in Texas. So it hadn't even been 4 weeks. It hadn't even been a month.
Yeah.
Lady.
So certainly her employees had to sit down and go, oh, what the fuck do I do now? Right? As did millions of people all over this country. They all had to do that. So, oh shit. Sorry, I was getting a phone call. It can wait.
No problem.
What was I saying?
Unregimented. ChristopherMedia.net.
Yeah, sure, the players bring some skill to the game, but if I don't put them in my lineup, who cares? Not me. I'm Eric Rubino, fantasy baseball GM and league runner-up 2 of the last 9 years. I use the progressive Name Your Price tool with options based on my budget. And for a guy that's used to being in control, it fits. Like this runner-up t-shirt. Champ gets a trophy, but you can't wear a trophy. Boom.
Get options based on your budget with Progressive, even if you're not a legend in your own mind. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Yeah, this season I actually had little business cards made. Eric Rubino, fantasy baseball GM. You can keep that. Sure, the players are famous, but come game day, I decide their fate. What's that? Oh, you make $20 million? Well, I don't like your attitude. You benched! No, I'd never bench an all-star, but I could. That's also why I like Progressive's Name Your Price tool. With options based on my budget, they never throw me a curveball. That's a little baseball reference for you.
Get options based on your budget with Progressive, even if you're not a legend in your own mind. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
ChristopherMedia.net. Unregimented.
Damn it. We riled up this lady.
Oh, right. So they had to sit down and figure out what the fuck they were going to do next, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, or did they? I mean, did they just sit there and go, oh, I guess I'm just going to sit here until my old business reopens and somebody calls and asks if I want my old job back?
Hey, April 2nd was the day April 3rd was the day they started taking applications for the PPP. So you had, that money is super easy to get. The first round was a clusterfuck. The second round's gone rather smoothly. You know how you know? Because you haven't seen a whole bunch, many news stories about the second round.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the second round's gone.
If anyone had any beef with this, we'd hear about it.
Well, the people
because the news is ready to jump on this stuff.
The people I deal with, my 9 to 5, who didn't get funded in the first round, got funded in the second round. So everyone I deal with, we now have 100% success rate of everyone I deal with has gotten funded. So it wasn't hard to get the money, people.
And I'm not criticizing the press when I say that either, because this is kind of the press's role in this. They should be looking at publishing stories about, is this working or isn't it? Publishing stories about people who are, first of all, success stories of people who are saving their businesses with this plan, and also stories about people who are, trying to game the system.
Yeah. Yeah, those two idiots in New England.
This is the exact type of oversight that the press should be doing. So, yeah, let's, if there were stories about the second round being a massive failure, there's no way it's getting buried under anything. That would be headline news.
Well, we're also, it's the second week. So, I mean, it's already been going on for 2 weeks. We know by now.
Yes.
Yeah. They got those two guys in New England trying to falsify records. See, that's
what were they doing specifically?
They just said payroll existed that didn't exist.
Oh, so they were fattening up their payroll to make it look like they had more employees so they could get more money.
They just made it look like they had employees.
I think they didn't have any employees.
It was 2 of them. It's basically what, like I said, if I was less ethical, it's shit I would have done if I would have got us PPP money.
Right.
Like, we technically don't have any employees. There's no payroll on paper. Or in general. If anybody's listening. But that's true. It's not a lie. So, yeah.
Right.
So these guys, it's dummies. Enjoyed prison. No, those guys are going to prison. They are not going where the salon owner is. They're not going to the county. Those guys are going to go to prison.
Yeah.
Well, the whole point, again, money was super easy to get. Come on, lady. She's making a stand. She's becoming a martyr for the, I want to go back to work people. What you go? Good. Go work at Walmart. Go work at Amazon. Go be a Lyft driver. Go work for Instacart.
But that story was news because it is kind of a rarity. I'm sure there's people out there that are taking advantage of this situation, but they're nowhere near the majority. This is a very small minority of people who are actually doing this. From my experience, if we just want to talk anecdotal experience with people, most people are kind of more nervous about taking more than they should and being called out for it, whether it's just, again, in the court of public opinion or the actual courts of the government going after you saying you shouldn't have taken this money. My ex got a letter that was specifically addressed to concerning my daughter for some reason. My son's older, but it was basically, they were like, here's a bridge card for your daughter. So you can use this to get meals and whatever the fuck. And we're like, why are they sending us? We're not on welfare. We're not currently getting any kind of government assistance. I think they might have still some supplemental Medicare or Medicaid or whatever that is that helps out with their insurance. But beyond that, I don't have welfare kids, right? I pay my child support. They live in a nice home. They're taken care of. And she gets this letter. It's like, here's a card. It's assigned to your oldest kid. It's to be used for meals. And she's like, why am I getting this? And I had to look it up. And I'm like, oh, apparently this is a program that they approved because of the pandemic. Probably has a lot to do with the schools being out and everything. Probably has a lot to do with how kids normally got their meals and parents' anxiety over where they were going to supplement that. And then this is the answer. And she was like, well, I shouldn't use this. And I'm like, I don't know. Why not?
Take it.
I don't think you're not doing anything wrong, right? You think it might be over the top? Okay. I mean, if you really want to take a principled stand on it, then okay, don't use it.
My uncle.
But I don't see what you gain. But
my uncle
just
felt bad
again,
about his stimulus money. He's like, there's other people who could use this. I don't need this. I'm like, are you
insane? Exactly. And I know these are, again, anecdotal stories, but I've heard too many of them to think that it's not the majority of people out there that are more nervous about, not the people who are really in need, not the people who are out of a job, who are desperately waiting for unemployment and stimulus money so that they can make sure that they, can continue to pay their bills and have a place to live. But most other people are just worrying about, again, I don't think they're not worried that the government's going to come after them. They're worried that people will look down on them as like, oh, you, in a time of crisis, you chose to bilk the system. You chose to grab all you could.
My mom got $2,400. Her husband's been dead for 2 years. I'm like, whatever. If they based it on the tax return that dad was still alive, take the money, Mom.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's interesting because there were some stories floating around now that the actual checks are going out, and actual checks tend to be mailed to older people who aren't, they don't have direct deposit set up, something like that. And so there are stories about checks going to deceased people and what's happening with them. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this isn't always that cut and dry of like, oh, the government fucked up and they sent it to a dead man, because your perfect example right there.
Well, yeah,
your father just passed away.
He died literally almost at the halfway point of 2018. So he counts for 2018. He was still here. So yeah, if they base it off 2018, mom got $2,400. Good for you, Ma.
Yep. So who knows where the money goes? And I'm not going to try and conjecture on what your mother's doing with her money. But if it goes, as long as it goes anywhere other than the mattress, it's doing its job, right? It is absolutely doing.
That's how my 71-year-old mother is spending her money.
Yeah. It goes into a bank account, goes into savings, goes into an investment in stocks, goes straight up the nose, goes all to Best Buy or fucking the QVC. It doesn't matter. It's all going somewhere. It's all flowing. We just want to keep the money flowing.
Yes. You can buy the biggest rock you can, Mom.
Right. So, the government sends money to dead people, and some alive people might use it. Oh no. Like, what do you think is going to happen here? It's $1,200. So you give it back to the federal government and it makes what? Zero difference to their bottom line.
Yeah.
The success or failure of us beating this pandemic and having a good economy on the other side of it doesn't hinge on whether some dead people got $1,200.
Oh, don't tell that to people in Texas.
Do we want to get into this, the shooting in Georgia? Have you followed this?
Yes and no.
Yeah. Apparently this happened back in February, and for some reason the video is just now coming out. So I'm guessing that has something to do with how this is being processed. Maybe this was video was submitted for evidence in a court case, and that's why it eventually found its way to the public. I don't know if you watched the video. It's pretty awful.
Not a fan of snuff films.
Yeah. You don't see it. It's not like a close-up or anything, but you definitely see the struggle. They go off camera. The part that really throws me is after the struggle with the shotgun, the man who was shot, what was his name? Ahmaud Arbery. He tries to run away. And you can see, it looks like he's been shot twice in the chest.
Damn.
And he just kind of turns, takes 2 steps, and just crumbles. And you just figure that guy's got to be dead right at that moment.
Got shot with a shotgun?
It's pretty. I believe so. Yeah, that's what it looks to be. See, here's the story. This guy was jogging, and there were some guys in the neighborhood who were like, "Hey, that dude jogging looks like the dude who's been stealing materials from our construction site. So we're gonna make a citizen's arrest."
Oh, no, George fucking Zimmerman.
3 guys in 2 vehicles. One of them a pickup, of course. One of them, the guy is riding in the back of the pickup because, I don't know, you're from Georgia, you gotta act like as much of a cartoon character as possible. I'm surprised the guy wasn't fucking shooting his guns into the air and yelling yeehaw.
Well, we don't know that didn't happen.
Yeah, that's true. And they decide that they're going to stop this guy and confront him and make a citizen's arrest. So they stop him. Black guy running, 2 white dudes in a pickup with guns, one of them in the back of the pickup, and they stop you and point guns at you. Like, I don't think I would be inclined to go with them to a second location. I think I might just try and take my stand right there. But, regardless of what you think you would do, I don't think nobody really knows what they would do in a situation where a gun's pointed at them. I mean, I've had a gun pointed at me, and I know what I did. But every situation's different as well. And, wrestling with them, clearly not the best idea, but I don't know that I could blame the person.
Was it we began to violently attack him? Wouldn't most people say, hey, he tried to punch me? Like, these guys sound like they're trying to construct this narrative that they...
Wait, I don't...
I'm reading a description of the story here on USA Today.
Who's hitting who in your description?
It says Arbery began to violently attack one of the guys that got out of the truck. So when people say the guy tried to punch me, I would say someone tried to violently attack me. Like, they're trying to say this guy swung at him first. It sounds like they went, hey, a black guy, he must be the one who's been stealing everything. Let's get him. That's what this story's pretty much making it sound like what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you chase down a man, an unarmed man. You chase him, you're armed, you chase him down, you point a gun at him, and then you try and claim like, oh, he just attacked me out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Right? It doesn't matter if he attacked first. You acted first, right? The first attack is, I get my shotgun and I chase you down the street. That's the first step. Things aren't escalated when he suddenly violently attacks you. Things were escalated the minute you thought that you had the power to detain and arrest this person, who you have no proof on other than, well, it was a black guy who was stealing from us.
And let's be honest, too. Let's reverse everything. This was a white guy chased down and killed by 2 black guys. Holy shit. They'd already be on death row.
Yeah, that's the other side of this, is how they're handling it. They'd already
be arrested. They'd already be in jail. They'd already be convicted.
There were no charges filed against these people who murdered this man until this video started to come out. Until this viral video, as Vox calls it. By the way, fuck you, Vox.
Dude, they have been banned from my Facebook. They've been banned from my Google News feed. Like, they're horrible.
Vox, it looked like an interesting news outlet when they popped up, and they've turned out to be just rotten to the core in their practices. And their headline on this is Ahmaud Arbery update: viral video depicts shooting of an unarmed black jogger. Okay. It's not a viral video. It's just a video, yes. Right?
Yeah.
What we call viral videos is what's inside your butt. What's inside your butthole video song that the little girl made. That's a viral video. That's a video that everyone went, "Oh, this is so great. I have to share it with everybody." And they shared it with everyone, and they shared it with everyone, and everyone had a great time passing around this video of this little girl singing this ridiculous song.
That is almost the definition of a viral video, like textbook.
This is not a viral video. This isn't, hey, everyone pass this around because look at this guy's getting shot. He's just running. Oh my God.
Yeah. No, Vox has gotten hide all news stories from Vox in both Facebook and Google News. A long time ago.
Viral in the headline of a story about a video of a man being shot. You might as well just put wacky in there, right? This wacky video, this couple of nuts chased down a black guy. Check out this wacky video of him getting shot.
I don't know if there has been a sea change in the industry, or if, like, since I've crossed 40, it's more noticeable. But it is so much. It is getting so much easier to tell, or so obvious, when people half my age are writing things. I'll just see something. Okay, thank you, 20-something who wrote this. Next.
Well, I think they're all half your age,
right?
And I don't know that. I mean, who knows who's ultimately to blame with things like this? That's why I'm not calling out specifically the writer of this Vox story, because for all I know, they have they might have a mandate from their company that says, hey, anytime that a video is in there, you got to put viral in front of it, all right? Anytime you can put viral in your headline, do it. If you publish a story about a video and you don't publish it as a viral video, then we're just going to have our editors put viral in there.
Well, it's exactly. It's unfair to blame the writer because there's an editor that approves everything.
Yeah.
We talked about it, we do so many podcasts now. I'm not sure if it's this or the Wiesman or something we were talking about where it's like, people always talk about who let this happen. And we're like, something mystifies us when it's like, yeah, there's a succession of signatures that signed off on something like this.
Yeah. So the fact that this story could see print with this headline shows me that either A, Vox has no standards, or B, Vox's standards are broken.
Yeah. Or low column A, low column B.
Yeah. At least they got jogger into there. Cause honestly, cause it makes a difference in the type of image that it calls up in somebody's head. Because a lot of stories were talking about how this guy was running. He was running and he got shot. And people were like, he's running. Well, why was he running? Was he running from the guys? Did he take something and then he was running away? Why would he be running? Or is he running for office? I don't understand. Like, jogging is very straightforward. Jogging couches this in, this guy was minding his own fucking business. That's the difference between putting jogging and running. So Vox got at least the jogging part in there.
Also, thank you for having normal pictures on your social media, buddy. Like, and I'm not saying that sarcastically. Like, usually, like, you could tell when they've had to find, like, something and then crop it to make it look like, no, this guy had generally normal pictures. The picture that's going around social media looks like it was his senior picture. There's another picture that looks like it's him and his girlfriend or him and his wife. Just normal, just looking like a normal dude. Not looking like they had to, like, crop, like, a picture where someone was making themselves look like a badass on social media and make it.
Well, usually that's usually a time limit thing. They're trying to get a story out right away because somebody's missing or in danger or something like that. And if you've seen this person, this is the last known photo of them. But this is a story, again, this has happened back in February and it's all now coming out. It's only now being reported on a national level, but they've got, they've had plenty of stories about this guy. They've had plenty of opportunities to get the best pictures and all that. So this is what a lynching looks like in 2020, right? Yeah. I mean, do you agree with my sentiment?
Yeah. You and these two gentlemen, George Zimmerman, you are not police officers. You do not have the authority to act like them.
Yep. This is a case where we wish you could just be a Karen, right? We wish that you would just see this guy and call the police, and then the police can come and tell you that not every black person is trying to steal from you.
Yeah, not every black person running is running from something.
Right. Sometimes they run for sport.
I was going to say, or they're just playing sports. That sounds more racist.
Right. I'd like to report an instance of a black man running my neighborhood with no number on his shirt. I see no team identifiers.
So he's obviously committing a crime.
He has no logos. He's not wearing any branded footwear.
I'd like to report a black man running through my neighborhood not carrying a ball.
Right. I did not witness him throw an object to anyone or catch one.
Yeah, he did not throw, hit, nor catch a ball. This is therefore suspicious activity.
I would like to call traveling on a man I saw walking for more than 5 feet without dribbling a basketball.
Yeah. Obviously, he had it hidden on him. So it's traveling. They all do. So it's obviously traveling. He took more than 3 steps. Yeah. Black people can be free. We kind of wrote that into the Constitution 150 years ago. Apparently, these gentlemen get the memo.
Yeah. Well, they can be as soon as Georgia gets with the program, finally.
It's true. It's down south. There's a little curve going on down there where they think Jim Crow was just misunderstood. So those guys, Joe Biden's PR person, loving COVID-19, keeping them off the radar.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think that COVID's going to drown this story out.
It seemed to gain a little steam in the last couple days. But again, too, it's from February.
Well, that's the thing. Like, COVID wouldn't completely knock the Joe Biden Tara Reade story out of the headlines unless there were a lot of people that wanted it to go away already. You know, if both Republicans and Democrats were fired up about investigating these allegations, and we're not going to support Biden until we clear this thing up, then yeah, this could easily survive coronavirus.
Oh, yeah, you know, you're right. This will, because I guess you probably were already telling me this. This video just came out this week.
Yeah, right. Because
what the video? I'm sure action will be made then really quickly. I mean, if they're just seeing this guy hunted down,
yeah,
and hopefully at this point the lawmakers just go, all right, here we go. But one could argue if we're seeing this, law enforcement saw this months ago. If it's now released to the public.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, that's the issue right now is actually keeping the prosecutor in Georgia accountable, because he saw this video and said, I don't see a crime committed.
Unregimented. ChristopherMedia.net.
Progressive presents an interview with your upstairs neighbor.
My name's Barry. I live right above you. I don't host parties. I host after parties. They're like parties, only louder and nobody goes home. You can see right here I ripped out all the carpeting because it was holding me back with my pogo stick. Man's got a pogo. Oh, I'm a prankster. I'll grease up a soda can and then when somebody grabs it, boom!
Progressive can't save you from your upstairs neighbor, but we can save you money when you bundle renters and auto insurance with us. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net. Unregimented.
Florian Schneider is dead at age 73. He was
Kraftwerk person.
Kraftwerk co-founder.
Florian Schneider?
Yes.
That's a very European name. I mean, that's a Polish name, isn't it? Florian?
I guess. I don't know where it comes from. So, I don't know. I mean, being into techno, it's impossible not to love Kraftwerk. But they also aren't the inventors of techno. Like, it doesn't... You don't have to be like a super deep techno music fan to do a little bit of digging and find examples of people who predated the stuff they were working on. Kraftwerk just brought it brought fully electronic music into the pop world.
Yes.
And I know that, you know, in the US, people still look at them as like, They think of them as like the Velvet Underground, right? One of these hugely influential bands that never got radio play. But I'll tell you a story about a Detroit DJ named Dan Bell. And I heard this story directly from Dan Bell when he came back from... this was many years later, but he was recounting the story of when he went to Germany and played for the first time. Now... If you're not aware, techno is really big in Germany, and Detroit techno DJs are huge in Germany. And Dan Bell is, you know, he's a pretty popular Detroit techno producer and DJ. And he went over to Germany to play records, and he had his Kraftwerk record in there, you know, and he was going to play Numbers. Which, it's not the big hit. It's not any of the songs that people really know, I don't think. You know, people know, like, Trans-Europe Express and, the Model and stuff like that. But Numbers is a fucking banger. And whereas, like I said, you know, Kraftwerk didn't invent any of this shit, but if you want to talk about their influence in music, which it's definitely, you know, they've influenced many, many bands outside of techno even. But this song right here is pretty much the blueprint for electro.
I can hear that.
Which, you take electro records, you speed them up a little bit, you got booty. So, I mean, you probably still to this day go to a Detroit club, well, once they reopen, and hear a booty DJ throw this in, playing it at 45 instead of 33.
Oh, for sure.
So it's got, it's got the beat. It's a more like a backbeat, right? It's got the snare in there. It's not just a 4/4 pounding. And you've got those kind of arpeggiated sounds going throughout, and the robot voices. I mean, that's the template for electro music that people still to this day are making music that sounds like this.
Very atonal.
Yeah, no, really, it's not big on melody. It doesn't even really have like a bass line per se, right?
Oh. It's a bass drum.
Right. So anyway, I was telling the story about Dan Bell. So Dan Bell goes to Germany. He's got numbers in his crate. And this is like, you play this in Detroit, decades later, and people are still freaking out. People love this fucking song. And it's so immediately recognizable that you hear that first slap of that snare drum on this track get mixed in, and people immediately start screaming. So Dan Bell's like, I'm in Germany. I'm going to play Kraftwerk. People are going to lose their fucking minds. And the whole dance floor just kind of stopped and petered out instead. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? Until somebody I think one of the locals aligned his thinking on this and said, well, imagine if you went back home and in the middle of a techno set, a hardcore deep techno set, you played, I don't know, Material Girl by Madonna.
Yeah, he played Vogue.
Right. People would go, what? What is this? This is pop music. This guy even know dance music? This isn't what we can hear this on the fucking radio. Why are you fucking playing this song? And that's how the Germans looked at it. They're like, this is Kraftwerk. This is pop. This is not we paid you to come over here and show us what Detroit techno DJs are into. And you're into our pop music? That doesn't make any sense.
And actually, it makes perfect sense for us.
So yeah,
what is the extended version?
I can't claim. I'm not going to sit here and claim that I'm some huge Kraftwerk fan. I have one album. I've heard many of their songs.
They are EDM pioneers.
They are absolutely pioneers. I've seen them live. They put on a really good live show. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't want to slag them or anything. I don't intend to. I want to give them their due in their influence in music.
Not a fan, but I appreciate them and what they did and the influence they've had. That's where I'm at on Kraftwerk. Like I know why you needed to exist and when you needed to exist in the grand scheme of music, and I understand it.
Yep. Yeah, it's not that we wouldn't have electronic music, but we might not have it in pop, and it might not have reached the levels that it did. It might have continued to stay underground.
What's like when I hear Adam Carolla bag on Kraftwerk? I'm like, man, like Kraftwerk and Lou Reed. I'm like, listen, I get it, not your thing, but however, in music, they are both very important.
Yeah. Well, this Adam Carolla has the wrong idea when he criticizes music, saying I could do this. Well, you didn't.
Yes.
You didn't do, and you haven't made
and I know
any
that
piece
seems like
of music.
a cop-out excuse, but it isn't.
It's not. That's it. No, right. Billy the Mime was talking about this. He was interviewed recently. I don't know. I'm sorry. Stephen Banks. Do you know who Stephen Banks is? He was like the head writer for SpongeBob for years.
Yes.
He's a performer. He's a writer. He does Billy the Mime, which is like kind of a farcical mime act. And he's done really kind of button pushing mime performances where he does like the abortion, where he mimes it. He acts out as the mother and the aborted fetus and all that.
Jesus. His name.
He started doing portraits, right? Because he was like, oh, these artists are doing like these self-portraits and they're not really that great, but people love them. So he just started dashing them off, and he was like, all right. He spent a week. He did all these self-portraits of that. You know, he claims to have no artistic talent, so he's just kind of, they're just bad sketches, really. But people loved him. They went and saw his show. They loved the show. They want to take something home. Here's an original piece of art, and it's affordable. And he was like, I guess, first day when he put them up, the manager of the place came back to him, and he's like, when are you doing more paintings? And then he's like, what do you mean? I didn't plan on doing it anymore. He's like, well, I sold all the ones that we had up in the lobby, so now it's become a thing for him.
Huh.
But he said, people have looked at my paintings and said, well, a child could do that. Or they say, my child could do that. And his response is, your child didn't.
Yeah.
And that's a totally valid response, because that's all art is. Art is somebody deciding to create something that they hope would affect others. That's it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to be affected. You don't have to be stimulated in any way. But that doesn't mean it's any less of a piece of art.
Correct. Now there's a conversation you can start having about lazy art. There's that. But yeah, art is art.
No, because I don't judge art based on how much work went into it. So I don't have a classification of lazy art. It could have taken a person no time or effort at all, but if they then choose to throw it out in the world, it still has the same chance of affecting people as any other piece of art.
And the way this conversation could go, thus just illustrates art.
Yeah, it's art. It is subjective.
Yes. Because we could now have another hour on just the conversation we just started having.
Well, right. I mean, if you want to talk about how lazy art does nothing for you personally, that's great. I mean, as long as we're still calling it art, it's as soon as you start drawing those lines of going, this isn't art. Well, this is art and this isn't. All right. Well, then I don't know. I can't have a conversation with you, right? If you're going to just out of hand dismiss something as not even qualifying to be art, is essentially saying that your opinion is not valid, right? Because the person who was affected by that art, it's of their opinion that art affected them in a certain way. Good, bad, whatever it was. It got a reaction out of them. It did the job that it was meant to do as a piece of art.
Adding 2 words onto this isn't art could save everybody a lot of time and a lot of hassle and probably a lot of friendships. You could say, this isn't art to me.
Yeah.
And then everyone and nobody argues and we all move on.
Or just good.
Yeah.
Just put good in front. This isn't good art. Okay, that's an opinion, right? You're still couching it in art. We can agree that this is a piece of art. Now we just disagree over how it affects us. That's a valid conversation.
Yeah. And whether or not you think this podcast is art is all up to you. All right?
Yeah, and if you don't, fuck you.
Yeah, all right. You want to drop us a rating. 5 stars, please and thank you. We're on Twitter at Unregimented.
Yeah. Oh, you could have made this podcast? Yeah, but you didn't.
Yeah, exactly. We did. You fucking didn't. All right. And we've been making them for a while, and we make them a lot. All right. And you can find them on Twitter at UnregimentedPod. Instagram is at Unregimented. Email is unregimented@ChristopherMedia.net. Where you can go, you can click on the Amazon banner while you're ordering everything online now. You do that, you can help us out, doesn't cost you anything extra, and we get a little something. And that way you've helped us out, you haven't spent any extra money, and we don't feel like assholes for asking you to spend extra money at a time right now where every penny seems to matter for everybody.
Yeah.
Then Spotify, Spreaker.com. iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, ChristopherMedia.net. That's where you go to listen to us. Anywhere it gets a podcast at this point, you can find us. Thanks for listening, and Rich will be back tomorrow.
See ya. All right, then. Okay. Bye.
Unregimented. ChristopherMedia.net.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
So, have you noticed how everyone's grammar is completely awful now? Like, you know, the texting and the LOLs. Whatever happened to punctuation? I mean, drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Imagine the greatest collection of real-life entertainment on the planet, all in one place. Go ahead. Dare to stream with Discovery Plus. Stream now. Stream what you love.
ChristopherMedia.net. If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.